Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. Maybe you're good-looking, so always looking for and finding the good. You found good in abundance because you tuned in consciously and conscientiously to Eye on Las Vegas with your home host, Barry Shore, the ambassador of joy. And we discuss on this show with some of the most interesting people that you've ever encountered on the planet. And I'm just so happy that a wonderful guy named Larry Michel has agreed to be on the show today. I met him at a conference here in Las Vegas because Las Vegas has the smell and the feel of freedom. Stuff happens here. Now, let everybody in the world knows the name Las Vegas. It's a city that just conjures up all kinds of ideas. I'll give you an interesting data point. If you take the entire population of New York City, all in its all environs, take the entire population of Chicago and everything around it, the entire population of Las Vegas, of Los Angeles, and the entire population around here, put them all together, it doesn't even come up to the number of people that come to Las Vegas in a year. 41 million people come to Las Vegas in a given year. Why? Because it's a place of love. It's a place of freedom. It's a place of action and activity and things happening. And I'm just so happy to be able to have with you today this really interesting, fascinating fellow. He is also known as the Love Shepherd, L-O-V-E Shepherd. His name is Larry Michel. So wonderful, Larry, please say hello to 411,827 people around the world.
Greetings, everyone. It is so great to be here. Barry, I thought people came to Vegas for you.
What? Well, they do, actually.
I mean, that must have increased it of at least 10 million.
I'm the main attraction. Then we have, these other little things happening all around called the Strip and things like that. And I mean, literally strips. Okay. So as I said, I met Larry, and he has a wonderful background. He and I intersect with a lot of people that we know in common. I really urged him to be here today, and he graciously agreed because his whole being is about channeling of goodness. His whole being is about love. His whole being is about giving you the four answers. Now, the four answers imply, of course, four questions. So therefore, it's an inside baseball thing. I'll say right now, those of you who are Jewish know what that means. But instead of asking the four questions, you're getting the four answers. So let's just jump right in and talk about the organization that you had, which is really quite remarkable. I gave it the acronym TIGER, T-I-G-E-R. Why? It stands for the Institute of Genetic Energetics Rewards. TIGER. What the heck is genetics and genetic energetics, Larry?
Oh, it's so funny. I am still stumped with TIGER. It's like an acronym that has never been presented before, and I kind of like it. I'll have to come up with a new growl. Genetic energetics is a science that actually identifies the energetic frequencies that we vibrate at that are genetically coded. And what's interesting about it is that it's a new science, but it is the oldest method of connectivity and selection known to humankind. So for as long as we've walked this earth, we have decided who we want to interact with and how we want to interact with them based on the energetic vibrations and how it impacts us, who we want to communicate with, who we want to take as partners, how we want to live our lives, and how we create. All those things are designed for us genetically. And about 45 years ago, scientist that has passed away since identified this and was able to put it into words. And since then, it's been scientifically studied. It's just a brilliant work of science. And what's most exciting about it is what it does.
So I want to play on that and really unpack something you mentioned here, because when we talk about love, by the way, is a wonderful acronym that stands for living on vibrational energy. You hear what you just said? Mm-hmm. Love is living on vibrational energy. So when you talk about love, it seems to be not the opposite, but the backside, if you were, the other side of the coin of science. because one is emotion, the other science. And yet in reality, that's really not what's happening. You are telling us, and I think it's true, that the vibrational plane is where people live, and it's not only an emotion, it is science based, meaning we're using our cognitive as well as our emotional abilities, and it's hardwired into our DNA. Is that correct?
Yeah, it would be like our blood type, essentially. This is that the best way the best analogy I can give for it is that, because, look at our blood type, whatever it is, we move through life and without saying, hey, I'm A or I'm O, it's just like, it's me. Look at, I'm A blood type. We don't do that. But when we have a need, like let's say we're having surgery and we're going in and we have to have a transfusion, if we give someone the wrong blood type, we perish. Right? So imagine now, here we are energetic. We have this energetic blood type and it's impacting us all the time. But if we're unaware of the impact, we're literally causing damage, right? We are just taking away our ability to really connect with people. And we end up with resentment and shame and blame and guilt and all kinds of stories that emerge from this imbalance. And when we understand what is going on, we relieve ourselves from all of that almost instantly. And it's beautiful. And then I want to take just a second to address love.
I'd actually like you to invest a few minutes with us, talk about love, and not a second. We want deeper. That's why Larry Michels is here. And by the way, I want to mention everybody, I urge people when you listen, don't write things down. Right now, just experience this being called Larry Michels. Let it wash over you. This is being recorded, so you can listen a second time. Second time, write stuff down. And everything you want to know about Larry and the 4 answers is all going to be in the show notes. Just experience what's happening right now, because this is not just profound. This is going to be a shift in your perspective. And remember, keep that F in place or the other stuff happens. You want to shift your perspective. So let's dive deep into love.
All right. First of all, it's Larry Michel. Larry Michels would be 2 of us, and I think one is funny.
By the way, it's so interesting you say, because for some reason it rolled off my tongue easier, Larry Michels. I'm sure I'm not the first person to say that to you.
Yeah, after you spend time with me, you'll be pleased with only one. So, all right,
Larry Michel. But again, it's in the show notes. But you see how wonderful he is. The ability for us to interact, 2 people, and for me to say something, him to correct it in a gentle, loving, wonderful way. That is a definition of true love, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so since we're telling people to put down your pens and just listen and experience, here's a real quick one for you. And this is the absolute meaning of love. Take a deep breath in. In fact, put one hand on your heart, another on your belly. Breathe into your belly. And exhale and feel that air just come out as it passes through your heart and escapes. Breathe in again into your belly. Big breath. Feel the life force. Feel the power of that. Now, let it out and just breathe normal. What you just experienced while you were breathing and not thinking about anything else is that your life force puts you here and vibrantly allows you to interact every day in every way possible. Love is nothing more than our life force. It's right here. You are love. You're never without love. You don't really have to look for love because you are love. It's that simple. Now, we have, since 5,000 years ago when it showed up in the Bible, used love to really leverage it against behaviors. So love means kindness, or love means care, or love means pay attention to me, or love means honor thy father. All of these different behaviors have been influenced on us, and love gets kind of put in there as a category, so much so that over 40,000 people per minute search for the meaning of the word love on the internet. They're looking for a meaning. We don't have to look for meaning. We are love. Now, all the things that we call love, for example, the love languages, they're not about love. They're really about circumstances and conditions and things that we really enjoy and appreciate that are important to us. But it's not love. It is those things. It is kindness. It is acts. It is touch. It is a variety of things. And the reason why it's important to distinguish those characteristics independently is that when we don't, we have a tendency when those behaviors aren't given to us to feel less loved or unloved. And so we get into situations where we depreciate ourselves or someone else when a particular behavior doesn't happen. And that depreciation is like, oh my God, I'm not lovable, or they don't love me. And that's a disastrous thing to do, especially to someone who in the morning got up and did the most unquestionably beautiful thing they can do, unconditionally loving thing they can do. You took a breath. You decided to live another day. You made that choice.
Right.
That's love. Now, lots of stuff happens. Lots of stress happens. You take your feet, you put them over the side of the bed. You go, oh my God, the floor is cold. Crap, I need to find my shoes, or I need to now go feed my kids, or I need to get ready for work. And the stress and the complexity of our world has us forget that we're breathing, that we are love. Now,
So let's pause here and unpack a couple of things. The ability for one to internalize, utilize, and leverage what you're saying is a true shift in perspective. And again, I urge everybody, SHIFT, keep that F in place so the other stuff happens. You want to shift your perspective into what Larry Michel, the singular, is urging us to do. I also want to tell you about the word life. I think you're going to enjoy this. Life is a fabulous acronym that stands for living inspirationally for eternity. When you recognize that your life force is eternal, you always have been here, you always will be here. Your ability to be cognizant at the moment, awareness, is for a short period of time. And to be able to do that in love, as you say, i.e., living on a vibrational energy, now enables you to not only expand your consciousness, but expand your ability to be touched and to touch others. Mm-hmm. You will not be diminished. You will only be enhanced. Is that true?
Oh, absolutely. That's true.
Ooh, thank you. Well, I got it from you.
Absolutely, it's true. I cannot tell you the transformation it creates when we come to the realization that this eternal divine gift that is our life, that is our love and our life force is there. It's like, oh my gosh, now I can just look at how I live and see how to make this a better world, how to make this a kinder world, a warmer world, a more connected world, and never feel like there's something truly missing. Like we can take a breath and be at home within ourselves.
Oh, Larry Michel, you're so wonderful and loving. I feel like warm baby oil all over me, massaging my whole being. And I especially like, it's very interesting because we've discussed before, and you read about Larry, again, not now, but you read about, it's all in the show notes. He's worked with some of the biggest names in the world of personal development, Tony Robbins, John Assaraf, and many others. And that's all about inspiration. But we know what that happens. You up in the morning and then you need another fix, a few hours later. And it's not even about information. There's just so much information on the internet, overload, right? It's really about the T word. Transformation, like you said. And on that wonderful note, we're going to have a brief break. We have a great sponsor. We would not have people on the show that we urge you to consider patronizing if we didn't vet them first and think they're worthy of your time. We'll be right back with Larry Michel, the singular, wonderful Larry Michel, right after this brief message. It's only 44 seconds. We'll see you on the other side.
What if you could shop at your favorite local stores, swipe your current credit card, and get extra cashback rewards? And what if you could also have donations sent to your favorite cause at no extra cost to you? What if this amazing program was absolutely free and very simple to set up? Well, What If is here. Welcome to Einstein Cares, where your everyday shopping gives you and your favorite cause extra money. It's fast, it's easy, and effortless.
Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. Maybe you're good-looking, you're always looking for and finding the good. We found good in abundance. Our cup runneth over with good. You heard my voice is going, right? We have Larry Michel, M-I-C-E-L, singular, with us today. He is the love shepherd, and we've been discussing the transformation of enabling you, Y-O-U, because that's who you care about. The reason you tuned into the show has nothing to do with Barry Shore, nice guy that he is, or Larry Michel, great fellow that he is. It's all about you. Y-O-U, you becoming the best you, because when you're the best you make the world a better place. You make the world, you build more bridges of harmony, build more joy, happiness, peace, and love, which we've been talking about. So we left our audience, everybody here, hundreds of thousands of people around the world. We urge you, share this with 5 people. You want to share with 50 or 100? That's up to you. 5 at least. We can touch 2 million people around the world with Larry's amazing, positive, purposeful, powerful, pleasant message. Love, because that's who you are. You are the essence of that being. And when you use it and spread it, well, guess what happens? It's even better than manure because it smells good and it feels good and it tastes good and it lasts forever. So we were talking about the transformation idea, the T word. And Larry, you were talking about going mad. Now, you didn't realize you were talking about going mad, but I'm telling you, because MAD is a fabulous acronym that stands for Make a Difference. That's who you are. You're a madman.
I'll go for it. I'll take it.
Michael's a madman. Make a difference. So let's talk about how it is that you, through the 4 answers, again, the 4answers.com, you'll see it in the show notes, but through the 4answers.com, that you are enabling people to find out their blood type, as it were, or their genetic, energetic type, and that they can strive and thrive by accepting love. Talk to us more about that.
Well, the 4 Answers was created as it was a transition from a product that was originally called Match Matrix. So the work in genetic energetics got its inspiration from a gentleman that had gone through 3 divorces and thought, I'm missing something here, right? And he went, I'm a smarter person than that. How do I make these mistakes? So he was looking for, how do we really identify the people that we would be most compatible with? And that's how the science got it. That was the impetus for it. When I got involved with it, it was Match Matrix. When I realized that it was way, way bigger than just matchmaking, that it had to do with our relationships and work, with family, with our children, with our beloveds, all of those things, I knew it had to go beyond just Match Matrix. So we changed it to the 4 Answers at the time. And it's called the 4 Answers because there's 4 primary foundations in this system. One of them has to do with communication, another with the way we process information, how we live our lives, another is how we relate to money, and another is how we sexually engage. And those 4 pillars were the primary pillars that if you could get those together, if you could really understand them, then navigating just about any relationship is possible. Now, there's always obstacles, right? There's always challenges. But if you can really accept and honor and appreciate the person that you're engaged with, that you're in a committed partnership with, or that you choose to be close to, like our children or our family or people we work with, if we understand them fully and we can embrace their differences and similarities with a tool that really is about how we genetically interact anyhow, so it describes what we are, then we're way ahead of the game. We really take us out of a place of division and diversity and into inclusivity.
inclusivity, and unity.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
let's do this. Albert Einstein was very fond of saying that if something is not simple and elegant and can be explained easily, then it's not real. Steve Jobs played off that in terms of the physical world and built what everybody interacts with today, even though you don't have to have an iPhone, but he was the one who understood that the elegance of that. So I love the fact that it's 4 items that you identified, and that relates to the human condition. We all have a DNA, and DNA is only 4 enzymes. That's it. Every human being, billions of people from the beginning of time, all have only 4. That's in the physical world. I call in the spiritual world, we have 4, which are called joy, happiness, peace, and love. Let's unpack. We only have a few more minutes. Let's unpack one of those 4 pillars that you mentioned. Maybe we'll start with, you want to start with communication?
Sure. Communication style is what we call it. And it's a perfect place to start because it's also a place that I can ask people to see if they've had this experience. So tell me, Barry, you personally, have you ever spent time with someone and you felt like they totally drained your energy?
No, never happened in my life, Larry.
Wow. And up till now, I thought I could believe whatever you said. So we've all had that experience, right? Where we're with someone, we're in a situation and we feel like, oh my God, my energy is being sapped out of me. And we have a nickname for it. It's not a very nice one. And it's energy vampire, right? Just about everybody's heard that. And now I'll tell you, there is no such thing. What there are 2 people with 2 different energetic frequencies that are discordant, that are pushing against each other. And it kind of looks like when we were kids, when we were playing with magnets and we try and push them together and they repel each other, and we try and push them together and repel each other. We're putting all this effort into it. And we still always have that repel. So when there's 2 different frequencies that are not matched, they're discordant energy and they push each other apart. Barry, you and I are a great example. I'm what's called structural talking style. So I pick my words to mean exactly what I want to say. Those people listening to me may be saying, he's using way too many words. But when you talk to me, I'm going to take you literally. You, on the other hand, are what's called figurative talking style. You're emotive, right? It's like your expression is more about the conveyance of your emotion than it is the words. And
Correct.
you take words and turn them into acronyms that bring out even more expression. And you can see it and feel it in you. So if the 2 of us are hanging together in your office or my office for any length of time, we could be loving up on each other thinking, wow, it's so great. You're my next best friend forever. And sharing that space for too long a period of time will wear one or the other of us or both of us down. And so we get exhausted, we get tired, we lose our concentration. And then the next thing we do is we go, okay, hey, it was great seeing you. Let's talk on the phone next time. Right. And you leave or I leave and we walk out, we call our best friend. And all of a sudden our energy comes back. And the first thing we think is, oh man, Barry, really energy vampire. But no, that's not the case. It's just 2 energetic differences. And in that, so that's the piece that's real. Everyone's experienced that. We've also all experienced a situation when we thought we really communicated well. Like I thought it was crystal clear. And the person turns around and goes, I didn't even hear you say that. Right. Or it's like, that's not what I heard you say. And what it is 2 different language styles. It's almost like one speaking French and the other speaking German, but we're actually both speaking English. We just speak it differently. And I could be talking with Barry and you'd be using all these words. And if I talk just like this without any kind of energy or extra emphasis in my words, at a point he's going to go, what? I see his mouth moving, but I don't know if I'm even supposed to pay attention. But if I turn around and go, Barry, this is the most important thing. I can't even tell you how important this is. Now that extra energy, he goes, oh, I should listen. Right. So we are engaged with people all the time that are different than us. One's structural like I am, one is figurative like Barry. And what we end up doing is make people wrong for their difference. We make them wrong for not understanding us. We make ourselves wrong for perhaps not communicating well enough. And the reality is understanding that there are two different ways for us to communicate
Okay, now
at a
that
core
we
level. At a core level, gives us the ability to really
so
appreciate
let's
engagement.
unpack a couple of things. You've identified the issue. The difference is the imbalance, as it were, of the energy. How does one is there a tip of how do one overcome that so that you can bring those magnets together?
No, there isn't. There's always going to be a frequency difference, and it's always going to have an impact, but there are ways to accommodate for it, right?
Ah,
So that's the key. We're not about trying to make another person like us.
absolutely
We
right.
don't want to do that ever. I mean, this is where labels become real problems.
Right.
You put a label on someone, you put them in a box, tragic, right? So, what we really want to do is be able to embrace the difference and learn how to acknowledge, honor, and accommodate for it, right? And so, Barry, if you and I are working together all the time, we know that we're going to have to give ourselves space to regenerate, to build up, to get our energetic resources back up again, so that we can spend the time that we are together in the most resourceful and kind and connected way, right?
So this is especially interesting for me. I am happy to say married to the same woman for 47 years.
Wow, that's awesome.
And we are very different in terms of our energies. So the famous line "opposites attract" is true and it's not true. In other words, part of what you're saying is that it's not true, and yet part of it is that because we each want to bridge that gap because we care enough about the other. Okay,
You
this is
actually
truly
remind
wonderful.
me when I first got involved with this science, and all I was asked for was a birth date and my opposite gender parents' birth date, my mother's birth date. I went, what? What is this astrology? What is this? I
Yeah,
mean, I like astrology, I like the esoteric stuff, but no. And
it's
what it
woo. Who
is,
needs that?
yeah, it's astronomy and quantum physics. But what was really interesting, um, I spent 2 years, Barry, interviewing couples, over 1,000 couples. And one of my favorite couples was one that they had been married, I think almost 50 years. And I ran the profile between the two of them because we have this thing called a romance report that looks at two people, and they were completely different energetically all the way through. And the owner of the company at the time was saying that will never last. And I'm going, wait a second, these two have made it 50 years. So that can't be true. And I remember asking the woman at the time, I told her what the report was. I get it back to her and she goes, oh, that's true. Oh, that's absolutely true. Oh my God. Yep. You nailed it. That's exactly
Right.
true. And I went, so how has this worked? And she goes, I love I appreciate, I adore my partner. He sees me and I see him. This is that reflection where love expression really comes from. And it says, I have learned to accommodate. I mean, we're together for a reason. We came together for a reason. God, divine source, whatever, brought us together for a reason. We raised children. We did this. Yes, we've had bumpy times for sure, and we know why we're here and together, and we've discovered who we are, and she knew what they were exactly, right? And so
Okay,
it's
this
not
is
about finding your perfect match, if you will, or
good.
someone who is exactly the same as you, and it's not about finding someone that's totally different than you either. It's about finding and discovering who and what that person is, and knowing that no one shows up in our life without a reason, and
Well,
discovering
speaking
the
of that,
value
Larry
of that.
Mike, thank you for showing up in our life, Larry Michael, the singular. I'm sorry to even use these words. Our time together is coming to a close.
Can
I
I
have
pout?
three. I have three quick questions for you. Ready?
Yes,
Number one, will you come back again?
absolutely.
Woo! Number two, Larry Michael, you have 80 seconds only to answer this question. What is your most fervent desire?
Hmm. My most fervent desire would be that no human being on this planet ever feels insignificant. just to know that we all are significant. We're all here for a reason and purpose. We all have massive divine value. And if I could pass a magic wand over the entire population, it would be that in that instant, they know that. And in that instant, they know that they're the love.
You just gave the definition acronym of joy. Joy stands for Journey of You.
Yes.
Journey of You. Number 3, Larry, may I give you a hug in front of 418,927 people around the world?
Absolutely.
Let me tell you what hug stands for. Ready? Heartfelt, unlimited giving. 1, 2, 3.
Yum.
And you've been listening to Eye on Las Vegas with your humble host, Barry Shore, the ambassador of joy, and wonderful Larry Michel, the singular. Go to the show notes. Love the podcast. Share with 5 people. And from Larry and Barry, we have a blessing for all of you. Go forth. Live exuberantly. Spread the seeds of joy, happiness, peace, and love. Go mad. Go make a difference. Larry, don't go away.